tell me what to think and I'll digest it, and then tell me what conclusion to draw from that, and I'll agree with you. Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well and that you had a great week. To all of my house guests, come in, make yourselves at home, make yourselves comfortable. If you're passing by and you'd like to become a house guest, don't forget to hit subscribe and activate all of your notifications. I'm Chez, this is Chez M0i, welcome to my place. Guys, let's just get into this video. Imagine finding out that your father was disappointed that you were even born. How would that make you feel? This was Princess Diana identifying the point at which her marriage to Prince Charles began to break down.
Because at Harry's christening, Charles went up to Mummy and said, you know, he was so disappointed, we thought it'd be a girl.
It matters little that Charles may have grown to love Harry. The fact that a father would verbally express disappointment at his child's mere existence speaks volumes. I would imagine that the feeling of rejection became more acute for Harry when his mother died, because the one person who expressed genuine love and care for him had gone forever.
Rejection.
Collins Dictionary defines the verb to reject as follows. If someone rejects another person who expects affection from them, they are cold and unfriendly towards them. Now, imagine growing up in a family where you are not allowed to express any emotion whatsoever. Not only has Harry spoken about this, his brother has as well.
Nothing like it in the world, it really isn't. It's completely and utterly, it's like an earthquake just run through the house and through your life and everything. Your mind is completely split. And it took me a while for it to sink in. Slowly, you try and rebuild your life and you try and understand what's happened. And I kept saying to myself that, you know, my mother would not want me to be upset.
Prince William was only 15 when he found out his mother died, and nothing has ever been the same since then. But considering he's the future king of the UK, William always had to keep his emotions in check. After many years of not talking about Diana's death, William finally opened up about everything, including the reason why he never talked about her death before. So what did Prince William say about his mother? Was he really not allowed to speak about the suspicious death by the royals? So imagine how Harry and William felt when they had to wake up to Charles telling them the tragic news. Sadly, the kids didn't get to spend Diana's last days with her because they were in Scotland with the rest of the royal family, while Diana was having a vacation in Saint-Tropez with her boyfriend. Her death was announced on August 31st while William and Harry were still asleep. They went to sleep after a long day of having fun with their cousins and woke up to the most heartbreaking news ever.
There's not many days that go by that I don't think of her. Her 20th anniversary year feels like a good time to remember, all the good things about her. And the very last memory that I have is a phone call. At the time, Harry and I were running around, minding our own business, playing with our cousins and having a very good time.
Diana was keeping in touch with Harry and William despite the distance and the long time they had spent apart. So these phone calls had become a routine. So the brothers didn't want to interrupt their playtime with their cousins for it, which was why they rushed through the call and ended it quickly.
And I think Harry and I were just in a desperate rush to say goodbye, see you later, we're going to go off. And if I'd known now, obviously, what was going to happen, I wouldn't have been so blasé about it and everything else. But that phone call sticks in my mind quite heavily.
They didn't know it would be the last time they'd hear her voice, and that still haunts both William and Harry to this day. In an interview with GQ, William talked about how he got through all of it. And I was in a state of shock for many years. People might find that weird or think of shock as something that is there, it hits you, then in an hour or two, maybe a day or two, you're over it. Not when it is this big a deal, when you lose something so significant in your life, so central. I think the shock lasts for many years, Prince William said. It has taken me almost 20 years to get to that stage. William also talked about the funeral, which we have to agree was probably one of the most difficult days of his life. Not only did he have to go through his mom's death, but he also had to do it with millions of people watching. William said it was one of the hardest things he'd done, yet he tried to contain himself and not cry. If I had been in floods of tears the entire way round, how would that have looked? He said. I didn't feel comfortable anyway, having that massive outpouring of emotion around me. I am a very private person, and it was not easy. The most unusual thing about the funeral was the number of people that were out there. There was so much noise and people crying and fainting that it became overstimulating for him. William said it was very touching to know how many people Diana had touched, but it was still very weird to be in that situation. William didn't show his emotions on the day of the funeral, and he continued doing just that throughout all these years. After all, he is the future king, and there are some rules that come with that position. The thing is, you can't bring all your baggage everywhere you go. You have to project the strength of the United Kingdom. That sounds ridiculous, but we have to do that. My mother did put herself right out there, and that is why people were so touched by her. But I'm determined to protect myself and the children, and that means preserving something for ourselves, Prince William said.
I'm determined to protect myself and the children, and that means preserving something for ourselves.
William and Harry miss Diana now more than ever, and they wish she would have been here with them. Diana was a great mother, and she would have been an amazing grandmother too. Sadly, William's and Harry's grandchildren will never get to meet her.
She was very jolly and really enjoyed at times making a lot of mischief. But she always understood that there was a real life outside of palace walls.
She was our mum. She still is our mum. And of course, as a son, I would say that she was the best mum in the world.
Diana will always be remembered through her sons and the legacy she left behind.
The difference between William and Harry is that, as the heir, William has no choices about his life. It has been drummed into him from the very beginning that he is the special one, and everything will be done for him. The price he's had to pay, however, is that he always has to do what's expected of him, and he worries a lot about what people think of him, which means that if he makes a few indiscretions here and there, he has to be careful not to be found out. That's a lot of pressure to perform, which partly explains why he has such a short fuse. Conversely, as the spare, Harry had been left to his own devices with no real direction or purpose, but he was still expected to toe the line to some degree. His rebellious years shouldn't really have come as a surprise because, number one, that's the only way he could express his anger in the years following his mum's passing, and number two, it meant that his dad had to at least acknowledge him. Furthermore, years of therapy have allowed Harry to channel his energy into finally discovering his purpose, enhanced by the fact that he has a like-minded and supportive partner by his side.
The Invictus is Harry's #1 passion project. It's been very successful since its outset. It doesn't come cheap, it costs a lot of money, and he's been able to continue to raise that money throughout this period, which is impressive. But I think there was a degree of jealousy about how well it had gone. I do think that William was surprised how much this had been such a success and how much money was being thrown into it and how many governments were getting involved.
The British media continues to use the gullibility of some sectors of the public to reinforce the idea that Meghan is the evil woman who took him away from the royal family and the British people. Consequently, many blame Meghan for Harry leaving the royal family and categorically refuse to accept that Harry has always wanted a life outside the firm, many years before he even knew of Meghan's existence. This article is from marieclaire.com. It was written by Rachel Birchfield and published on the 8th of October 2023. The headline reads, "Let's settle this once and for all. Prince Harry wanted to leave the royal family long before he even met Meghan Markle. The displaced blame and especially the gross term Megxit needs to stop." One of this writer's least favourite words is Megxit, the derogatory term given to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's departure as working members of the royal family in January 2020. It places all of the blame on Meghan for the couple's decision to leave, and, if one knows anything about Harry, it's blame that is grossly misplaced. Harry was unhappy inside the confines of the royal family long before he even met Meghan in 2016, let alone married her. Megxit, again to this writer, is a word that encapsulates what society is so prone to do: blame the woman for the problem. The Mirror reports that Harry was always destined to walk away and always planned to do his own thing, no matter who he married or didn't marry. In reports from 2019, it was revealed that Harry had made plans with his brother, Prince William, to split up the household and their staff to make things more seamless for their respective growing families, the Mirror reports. Ahead of Prince Archie's birth that May, royal correspondent Omid Scobie said that aides at Kensington Palace confirmed that plans to split the household were in place long before Meghan even came on the scene. For context, before anyone knew what was to come in January 2020, the splitting off of Harry, in particular from William and Kate as fellow working royals, since the three had been working together as a trio for so long, was a shift seen as quite seismic. We didn't know what was ahead. I've had aides at Kensington Palace say to me that long before Meghan even came on the scene, they always knew that when he got married and wasn't sort of the spare wheel, that he would go off and do his own thing with his partner, and they would very much live under their household with their own staff, Scobie said at the time of Archie's impending birth. It's very easy, or maybe I should say lazy, to allow this to play into that narrative of, oh, they're at each other's throats. Scobie said this before Archie's birth on May 6, 2019. Within the year, much had changed. Not only had Harry and Meghan and William and Kate split households, as, again, was always the plan, but Harry and Meghan decided to walk away from being working members of the royal family altogether in January 2020, relocating in the process from Harry's native UK to Meghan's native US. In 2022, journalist Bryony Gordon told The Telegraph that Harry wanted out of the crazy cult of royalty since childhood, but only got the courage to leave after meeting Meghan. It seems very much that Meghan didn't light the flame or start the fire. She just provided the extra spark of confirmation that it was the right decision for Harry and made the flame burn brighter, to the point where it couldn't be ignored or hidden under a bushel. Harry himself said this on the Armchair Expert podcast in May 2021, telling host Dax Shepard, "In my early 20s, it was a case of, I don't want this job. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be doing this. Look at what it did to my mum. How am I ever going to settle down and have a wife and a family when I know it's going to happen again? Because I know, I've seen behind the curtain, I've seen the business model. I know how this operation runs and how it works, and I don't want to be part of this. Could it be made any clearer?" And it concludes with the editor's note. Whether anyone agrees or disagrees with the decision to leave and everything that has happened in the 3+ years since is, quite frankly, none of our business. Though of course everyone is entitled to an opinion on this matter and any other, it's not our life, not our choice, and really not our problem. But what is a problem is that in this situation and countless others, it's always the woman's fault. It's far too easy, lazy, and oftentimes incorrect to spew vitriol at a woman where, at least in this case, the ship had sailed long before Meghan arrived at the port of call. As this writer has thought so many times lately, whether in reference to the royal family or not, I can't believe we are still having this same tired conversation. The term Megxit, beyond being offensive, is just simply incorrect. Sure, it may sound cute to a journalist to rhyme this term with Brexit. Okay, you did it 700 times since January 2020. Let's move on. But if you know the facts, listen to Harry tell you himself, and continue to perpetuate a long-standing trope about all women funneled down to the attack of one specific woman, you're in the wrong, period. We can and should do better as a society and especially as journalists. And in this case, burying the term Megxit is a good place to start. Now, I concur with what this article states, and I've been saying it since. She's even been blamed for what's going on with Kate right now. They've managed to drag her in, as I said last week, into this whole situation. And as I also said in my last video, the Windsor wives are totally expendable. Meghan, fortunately, has managed to escape. Harry wanted to leave. Meghan is not the reason he left. She didn't force him. It wasn't her decision. Remember, she left everything to come and be part of this family. She gave up everything. So, for those of you who still have wax in your ears, you've heard it so many times. Harry wanted to leave of his own accord, but there is still going to be a percentage of people who refuse to accept it because they have this fairy tale idea. We do not live in Disneyland, people. We don't live in Disneyland. This is the real world. And this situation goes on in families right across the globe. I think we just need to grow up.
It was really scary. Like, at every possible opportunity, the forces that were working against us tried to make it impossible. Did I expect to find ourselves in this situation so quickly? No. I think we've done a really good job, and I have no regrets. It's incredibly sad, but I have no regrets at all, because now I'm in a place where I feel as though I should have been 4 years ago.
In my humble opinion, any tabloid newspaper or TV journalist who displays zero shred of objectivity and whose sole purpose is to tweak the narrative purely for the sake of financial gain and notoriety by constantly reporting false and misleading stories about Harry and Meghan should be viewed as the lowest of the low. Why do I say that? You have Andrew Windsor, who has been implicated in child trafficking charges in relation to his association with Epstein. The allegations are so serious that the FBI is on Andrew's head, and his mother had to pay millions to one of his accusers in an out-of-court settlement. The British media is hell-bent on protecting this individual. I'd be very interested to know why. By contrast, the British media's strategy now is to try to convince you that Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, husband of Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, and father to Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, is involved in the same hideous, nefarious, and absolutely disgustingly vile activities that his uncle has allegedly participated in. This week, Harry was named in a lawsuit against P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever he's calling himself this week, Sean Combs. If you're still unsure about Harry's view that he has been sacrificed to protect William, This should leave you in no doubt whatsoever.
Please, what you saying?
Let's talk about some of these things that are going on in Hollywood for us, though, Andrew. A few stories that are making the headlines, starting with this lawsuit against P. Diddy and sort of implications for Prince Harry.
Yeah, so I want to make it crystal clear that Prince Harry is not implicated in any wrongdoings whatsoever. However, he's listed in this lawsuit as an example of the kind of powerful people that Diddy keeps around or Diddy goes, to certain parties with. However, Prince Harry, really, to all what we've seen, he met him once back in 2007 at the concert where that photo was taken. So really, Prince Harry's name should not be in this lawsuit. And quite frankly, it's a little bit bizarre why he was even named in there, because he has nothing to do with any of this stuff.
No, and Prince William's in there as well, Andrew, right?
Picture, yeah.
Yeah, Prince William was in that photo, but he's not named in the lawsuit at all, and most of the media outlets have cropped Prince William out of the photo, so that's why he wasn't really in the conversation.
Okay.
Remember the interview that Harry gave to Will Reeve on ABC's Good Morning America in Whistler, Canada a couple of months ago? The British media tried to convince you that Harry was coming back to the UK, which they desperately want, and everything would be hunky-dory with his birth family. And in light of Kate's recent health announcement, they say that the Sussexes have reached out to the Waleses, again showing the media's desperation for everything to be fairy tale perfect. Now, it transpires, I don't know how true this is, that if Harry has reached out, William's basically given him a frosty response, and I can believe that. This week, however, we have a mentally incompetent British media trying to smear Harry's name yet again with some ridiculous non-story because they absolutely despise him for what they consider is betrayal. Effectively, they're pulling him back with one hand and pushing him away with the other, thereby deliberately causing individuals to question their own sense of reality in the process. What exactly does the media want? Regardless of their desire, this is classic narcissistic behaviour. So, as usual, I have a few questions. Number 1. Why would this man return to the country of his birth, where he is viewed as a traitor and there is a credible threat by more than one neo-Nazi organisation to end the life of his wife? Number 2. Why would this man return to the country of his birth, where his own father is not prepared to provide much needed security for him and his family when they visit? Number 3. Why would this man return to the country of his birth, where his own brother does not have the mental maturity or leadership skills necessary to stand up to the media who openly vilified his critically ill wife since the beginning of the year? And speaking of vilification, why would Harry and Meghan, with the knowledge that they are not liked by many people, publish their personal accounts of life in the royal family if they were not true, and risk even more hatred towards them? Diana did the same. In fact, Diana went as far as to say that Charles would not make a good king. Yet none of these revelations were held against her, and she is still revered and adored nearly 27 years after her death. I'll leave you to draw your own conclusions. In any event, however, active listening is key. Active listening is being fully engaged while another person is speaking. It is listening with the intent to understand the other person fully rather than listening to respond. With that in mind, you have to lack basic common sense, let alone the ability to actively listen, if you still don't understand that Harry finally has what he always wanted.
Yes, what's good, people? Listen, yeah. Don't let people dim your light. Don't let them do it. Don't let them try and find their way in to your happiness. honestly, I swear to you, it's so not worth it, because this is your dream, yeah? And you're making it a reality, and it's now your reality. And these people are going to come out the woodworks, and they're going to come everywhere. They're coming from under the floorboards, they're in the back of the sofa, they're trying to sneak their way into the air conditioning, yeah? Just to try to find a way to put a downer on your spirits, yeah? Because ultimately, like, they see what you have, they see the way you carry yourself, the way that you're confident, the way that you're happy, and they want that. But you can't let them dim your light, man. You know, you just have to just ignore it. I know it's hard. You want to, I know it's hard, but remember what you've done it for. Remember what makes you happy, what you wake up for in the morning, you know, the achievements you get off the back of it. Like, don't let these dark energies force their way into your light, yeah? I know it's hard, but don't give up, man. I swear to you, don't give up. Keep going, and like, you'll enjoy the fruits of your labor. And them man there, they will be eating the rotten fruits. So yeah, take care, love, peace, and yeah, protect your energy, man.
Yes, I concur with Mo Gilligan. Don't let anyone dim your light. This is what the media has been trying to do to Harry and Meghan since they had the audacity to leave these shores. The audacity of it all. How dare they? It's so strange. But I expect it, though, that the media would stoop. So I can't even say media. I'm going to continue to say British media. With regard to this story about Harry's name being on a list of people in this lawsuit against P. Diddy, okay? The fact that the British media cropped William out of that picture, but American media, from what I've seen, they didn't. They showed the full photo. It says a lot. It says a lot. And what made me scratch my head is the fact that, as that guy had said on the This Morning commentary, that Harry was there as an example of powerful people, a high profile person. Now, help me. I need you guys to help me, honestly. Okay. Harry is the spare for a reason. He is not the heir. Okay. By virtue of the fact that William is first in line to the British throne, is he not more powerful than Harry? Have I got that wrong? If you're talking about status and everything, does he not have a higher status than Harry? Because as far as these people are concerned, Harry is really a nobody. So why is Harry's name on that list and William's name not on that list? The cynical side of me, and I'm going to be cynical today. I'm going to let it out today. The cynical side of me thinks, I'm going to put it out there, okay? Things go on in the background that we don't know about, that we will never know about. In my head, okay, William will have got wind of what was about to come. Someone would have given him a warning and said that your name, William, could potentially be on this list of people in this lawsuit being brought against P. Diddy. And in order to protect William, as they normally do, and try to keep his reputation clean, I don't know how they're going to do that, but anyway, in order to try to keep his reputation clean, he would have said, get my name off of that list. Make sure my name does not go on that list. Don't care about my brother, but make sure my name is not on that list. That's what the cynical side of me would say. And I'm not going to dismiss it as rubbish. You guys might, but I'm not. Because what I've seen, anything is possible. Now, if William... The clip that I played when he talks about not being able to show emotion, not being allowed to show emotion, and I highlighted the fact, I repeated that section where he said that he wants to protect himself and his children and preserve their privacy. no mention of Kate. This is 7 years ago. It was the 20th anniversary of Diana's death. That interview was done. So if he's saying that 7 years ago, and we can see evidence of that again in 2024, where he just allowed his critically ill wife to take the blame for a photo, a heavily edited photo. Where's the protection in that, please? We know he's not interested in protecting his brother. We already know that. That's academic. That's a given. But his wife, the mother of his children, this is not new, him not protecting his wife. Yes, I've said it. Because if he can say that 7 years ago, he's definitely not going to protect her now. And I had seen online that Kate announcing her health, showing her health diagnosis. Apparently she didn't want William to be there. She wanted to do it on her own. I don't know how true it is, but that wouldn't surprise me. And I hope to God she gets better. I hope to God Kate gets better. Not just for her sake, but for the sake of her kids. Because if anything happens to her, those kids, they're not going to, do you think Kate's parents are going to see them? God forbid anything happens to Kate. But these kids are property of the crown. They're property of the crown. And when you think back to William and Harry, when they only had limited time with their mum, they were property of the crown. It's very scary to think that an institution could do that. They have, it seems like, limitless power. And I thank God that Harry and Meghan took their kids out of that environment. For everyone that's saying, oh, Archie and Lily shouldn't be prince and princess, that's their birthright. You can't take that away from them. If they want them not to have those titles, they can easily request that, just like Anne did for her children. Princess Anne's kids do not have titles because she specifically requested that they don't. That's their birthright, though. You want to take things away that because you don't have them, you don't want anyone else to have them. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, guys. This one is a head scratcher for me. Harry's name on the list, but not William's. William was doing the most, as you could see in those photos. He was doing the most. Trying to get all pally with P. Diddy. But his name is not on that list. Forget about the fact that, Harry's not implicated. By the very fact that his name is on that list, people will jump to all kinds of conclusions. Because they want to tar him with the same brush that they tar Andrew with. Because increasingly, what I've noticed over the last year and a half is that they're trying to categorize them together. Because they don't perform royal duties anymore. With Harry, it was a choice. With Andrew, it was forced. But they're trying to make them the same. They're not the same. So I don't know what this thing is now, where they're trying to lump Harry and Andrew together. It's disgusting. And, they continue to treat us like we're stupid. Some may be, but not all of us are. A lot of us have intelligence where we don't swallow this nonsense. Like I said last week, critical thinking is required. Think critically, think independently. Because the media, the British media, I have to make the distinction, they rely on the fact that you are not going to think for yourself. You're only going to continue to use 10% of your brain capacity to get through life, to navigate life on a day-to-day basis. You're not supposed to be thinking more than that. Because for some people, it actually hurts their brain to think outside of that, what you're being told. So a lot of people, they like to be told what to think, because for them, it's no effort. Just tell me what to think and I'll digest it. And then tell me what conclusion to draw from that, and I'll agree with you. It's sick. And I will say, you know, they talk about propaganda in all of these countries, you know, Eastern Bloc. Is the Eastern Bloc a thing anymore? That side of the world, they talk about propaganda. They talk about propaganda in the Middle East. They talk about propaganda in the Far East, what their citizens are being told. We are being propagandized in this country on a daily basis. We are being propagandized. Okay? The state owns BBC. You're not being told the truth there. Rupert Murdoch owns Sky and Fox, from what I know. Correct me if I'm wrong. They will tell you what they think you should know, what they want to feed you. They're not going to be objective. So it's up to you to do your due diligence if you can be bothered. If you can't be bothered, don't complain about the state of things in this country. From you not being able to buy a pint of milk to you not being able to pay your mortgage. Don't complain, because you're complicit in all of that if you just fall in to what they're telling you. They, I mean the establishment, the media, even the firm. You know, trying to give the next in line to the throne this glossy, gleaming exterior. No, I don't buy it. I've never bought into it. Not interested. I just highlight these things because it's so disgusting how we're treated with such contempt. Anyway, guys, I'm rambling and I've got a sore throat. So if your thoughts were provoked in any way, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet become a house guest, don't forget to hit subscribe and activate all of your notifications. I want to take this opportunity to wish you who celebrate Happy Resurrection Sunday. I'm grateful. That's all I can say. At this point in time, I'm extremely grateful. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and you shall catch me in the next video.